Yeah, how are you doing? Welcome to class. How is everyone doing? Welcome to another amazing session on the Focus Female Summit. It's the Focus Female Summit, yeah. And I'm super excited to be having this conversation with you this evening. Tell me your name and where you are joining us from. Where are you joining us from? This is going to be on fire. This is so going to be on fire. Focus Female Summit. Hmm. It's been an incredible 2 days. Today, right now, we're going to be rounding up on the three sessions. So tomorrow, continue by 2 p.m. I really want to celebrate every one of you that's been here for the past couple of days. Our speaker is not available, so I'm going to be teaching back to back, right? I'm going to be teaching back to back. Are you ready? If you are ready, type I am ready, Coach Faith. I am ready, 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 ready. Type in the comments where are others. Go tell them in the room that we are live now. Shoma Jofo, thank you so much for your consistency. It's been beautiful. We celebrate you all the way from Abuja. Welcome to class. OS is in the building. OS is in the building. Linda Aka. Linda is ready. Linda, you're welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. Okay, so we're going to be getting right into the conversation. I'll be talking about the power of focus. The power of focus. I like to type that in the room. Type the power of focus. Type, 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 type. The power of focus. So I'm going to be sharing my slide to teach this class because this one is a serious matter. And we're going to do this for the next 40 to 45 minutes. I hope to be able to round up with this short space of time. I don't want to overboard us with too many details. But let me share my slide. I'm going to be teaching on the power of focus. I like to write that somewhere. The power of focus. I hope you can see my slide. It is flat. Is it readable? Is it readable from your end? Focus Female Summit. Teresa is joining from Lagos. Welcome, welcome, Teresa. So good to have you in the room. Thank you so much for joining us in the Focus Female Summit. First of all, a couple of quick announcements. Like I said from the very beginning, that we're going to be doing certifications. So those of you who go through this program successfully, like we always do at the end of every class, I will tell you to go to the room, share your feedback, share your lessons. You can go to the room and share. And then secondly, you're very active, like you show up for sessions, you show up for commitment. We're not giving any major assignments. Then for you to be present, take your notes, write, and truly share your feedback at the end of every session. Okay. So apart from that, we have also said that um, the Focus Female Summit is not just the end in itself. All right. Uh, After this event, after this program, there's more to come. There's more to come. We've also said beginning certificates for those of you that will be very much committed to this very event. Okay? So get yourself ready to do this on a deeper level if you have not been committed. And then from tomorrow, we're going to be starting off with the Empowered Woman Edition. We'll be starting with Coach Jane Austin, my very amazing friend and colleague in the feed. All right? She's going to be showing up tomorrow to speak by 2 p.m. And then we have other teachers, Coach Redempta Kanja, our purpose coach will be joining us by 3 p.m. And then by 8 p.m., we'll be having my very own sister, Ishepo, all the way from Eswatini tomorrow. So get yourself ready. You're going to be having these amazing ladies back to back to back to back to back. Back to back to back to back. All right. So it's okay that I'm teaching this evening. I really love it. Now we don't have a speaker for this evening available. I don't know what happened is not here. So I'm just going to take this time to walk us through something very amazing, a framework that I've always used over the years that's been so fascinating, that's changed my perspective about so many things. The power of focus. Mhm. Did you see the subtitle there? All right. While I was preparing for this, someone already told me, "Faith, make sure that there's a book to this." So hopefully you're gonna get a book with this title, The Power of Focus. How many of you would love to have such book? How many of you would love to have such book? What it really takes to stop being scattered and start becoming unstoppable. Now, let me ask you, what does it take for you to become unstoppable? Or what will it take you right now to become unstoppable? And that's why the power of focus is very important. Focus, I would always say, is a magnifier. Whatever it is that you focus on, it expands, it gets bigger. All right? It is one of the fundamental law of the universe that they cannot play with. All right? We cannot even joke with it. We cannot even joke with it. Do you understand? So it's something that we've got to be deliberate when it comes to growth, when it comes to really moving from year to day. All right? How many of you are ready? Are you ready? Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? How many tabs do you currently have open right now on your phone? I like you to type, 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 type. How many tabs do you have right now on your phone? Okay, how many tabs do you have right now on your phone? Now also compare that to your mind. Compare that to your mind. So if you were to look at your phone right now, it's possible you have hundreds of tabs. There was a time I had over 70 tabs open on my Chrome browser. I was shocked when I saw it. So I had to go back because I discovered that some of them I was no longer using them. I had to delete them. Maybe I'm carrying out a research. I leave the tab open. Hopefully I'll come back. Different tabs like that. Now the question is, how many tabs do you already have right now on your mind? Tabs that are open right now on your mind. Okay? The woman that is everywhere at once is actually effective nowhere. You cannot be everywhere and be ineffective nowhere. I'm going to recommend a book as we continue on this journey. All right? The woman that is everywhere is actually nowhere. Do you see that? The woman that is everywhere at once is actually ineffective. You can never be effective when you are everywhere. Okay? Deep down, you know what I'm talking about. You can never be effective when you are everywhere. So today we're going to talk about the one thing that changes everything for you. That's one thing that can change everything for you. That's our conversation this evening. That is the subject of focus this evening. That's one thing that can change your perspective, that can change your life, that can transform you from the inside out, that can change everything for you. Focus. Focus. If your eyes be single, your whole body shall be filled with light. That's the portion Bible, which is quite remarkable. If your eyes be single, somebody should put that up for me in the comment. If you know where it is in the Bible. If your eyes be single, the whole body shall be filled with light. If your eyes be single, all right, the whole body shall be filled with light. Do you see that? The truth about where your focus is going. This is a statistics. There is no way you will ever see me teach a webinar like this that there would going to be a statistic. 47% of our waking hours we spend it thinking about something other than what we are doing. We spend it thinking, according to Harvard University study, we spend it thinking a lot, thinking about everything. In fact, once a child becomes age 8, research has proven that they already have the brain of an adult. Research has proven that they already have the brain of an adult from the age of 8 and above, right? We have the different brain waves. I usually use the acronym DTAB. Somebody should type it in the room. Okay, let me type DTAB. All right, DTAB. So that is the acronym that I normally use to refer to the different brain waves. Okay, the different brain waves. The tab. The D there stands for delta, T is for theta, A is for alpha, B is for beta. All right, these are the different brain wavelengths in the mind of a man. So the moment a child becomes 8 years old, you already have the brain of an adult, and the brain of an adult, the wavelength is usually within the realm of alpha and beta, majorly what beta. So for 10% of our time, we spend thinking. 23 minutes is how long it takes to fully focus after just one interruption. The first time I learned about this is from the University of California, Irvine. The first time I learned about this, it really changed my perspective. Meaning that if you are going to be working 30 minutes in a day and then you get yourself interrupted at intervals, let's say about um, 10 times before the end of 8 hours, please multiply that by 23 minutes and know how many hours you are going to be wasting every day just getting distracted. This is the reason that distraction is more like a pandemic. All right? Distraction is more like a pandemic. People no longer have time to zone in. We no longer have time to zone in. We no longer have time to really put ourselves together to ensure that we are able to really do the things that really matter. We no longer have the time. 23 minutes is how long it takes to fully refocus after just one interruption. You see that? And then when we talk about our hours, our productive hours, 2.5 hours of productive time is lost daily to distraction and task switching. Yesterday, I said something about monotasking and multitasking. Faith Obuje, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Okay, yesterday I spoke about something that has to do with multitasking and monotasking. Somebody should type that in the room. Okay, multitasking and monotasking. So your ability to begin to switch tasks, it means that all of us will have it. It means that 2.5 hours of our productive day is going to be lost. So this is not really about willpower. Like I would always say that willpower is unsustainable because as you wake up in the morning, all right, as you wake up in the morning, your willpower starts to diminish the moment you get to work. It starts diminishing as you wake up in the morning. Do you see that it starts diminishing? So as a result, you will not be able to achieve a lot. You will not be able to achieve a lot because you're going to be what um breaking down at that level. That's what we talk about joining an exponential community. Our last speaker spoke about joining a community. Now, when you join a community, when you're in a community, a beautiful community that is inspiring, what happens is that the willpower of others also rubs off on you. Because when you are struggling in an area of life, let's say you are struggling to pray, and someone else does it perfectly, they share their testimonials, and then you learn from that. Just imagine the lessons we have learned from the five speakers that we have listened to. You can imagine the lessons we've learned from them. They've shared their insights. They've shared how they've been able to navigate their journey, all right? How they've been able to move on from where they are to the next level. How they've been able to manage circumstances. We've listened to them and they've shared all of those things with us. You can see right now that from what they have shared with us, it is of necessity they'll begin to understand that it is possible for you to be in an exponential community and begin to glean wisdom from other people based on how they've been able to overcome in an area of life. So that is why we often say that willpower is contagious. Willpower is contagious. Write in the comment. Willpower is contagious. But the truth is, for you to focus, it goes beyond willpower. All right? It goes beyond willpower. Your environment, like I said, is important, and your ability to understand your why, your ability to understand purpose, to set daily intentions. Okay? Daily intentions. I wake up very early in the morning every single day. I think I was speaking with one of us yesterday, and I was telling her that I wake up as early as 2 sometimes, as early as 3 a.m. Not because I want to read, but because I want to set my intention for the day. So what should type my intention for the day? I want to set my intention for the day. Okay? In setting my intention, there are a lot of things I do within that. All right? Within that framework, there are a lot of things that I carry out. I'm setting my intention. What do I do when I set my intention? There are a couple of things that makes up my intention setting. Number one is that I pray. Number two is that I journal. I'm always journaling in the morning, writing my thoughts, filling up my head, and then I envision, right? I envision and then I study my Bible and I read a book. So I do all of that within that 3 hours mark. All right? Share it within that 3 hours mark. Sometimes I wake up earlier, sometimes I wake up as early as 12, depending on what my plans are and what I'm looking forward to. So, but majorly, the reason I wake up very early so that I'm able to set my intention before the day begins. All right? Because once the day begins, that's what makes of us are distracted. You wake up maybe 6 a.m. and you're already getting yourself, you're already getting, you're already having your bath, getting ready for the office, or if you work from home like me, you're already getting ready for that. You don't have time again. Especially if you're a parent, you don't have time again to think about yourself, to think about your vision, to think about what God is saying to you for that very day, the ideas He's laid in your heart, to think about nothing. All right? So that is even the beginning of it. Let's bust some myths about focus. Let's bust some myths about focus. All right? Number one, you have to see that. Can you see my slide? Doing everything perfectly and never getting distracted. That is not what focus is. All right? Focus is not doing everything perfectly and never getting distracted. That is not focus. Focus is not about locking yourself away and avoiding all of life's demands. That's not focus. Number three, okay? Focus is not a personality trait, okay? That some women have and others do not. It is not a personality trait. Though there are certain personalities that are more prone to focusing deeper, all right? I don't want to talk about those personality traits so you don't begin to label yourself, all right? If you have done your personality profiling before, maybe in our community or personally you've done it, you've used some of those introspective tools like the Myers-Briggs, like the FFM, five-factor model, like we have Clinton Strength Finder, we have the Enneagram, and all of those different tools out there. If you've used them before to sort of understand your personality on a deeper level, I'm not saying all of that, so you don't begin to label to say, oh, because my personality is this, so I'm a focused person. You can have a certain personality that is prone to focus, but if you do not understand your vision, you do not know how to set intention properly, you may still be distracted. Now, distraction may not be that, oh, you are carried away by socials. No, it may not be that. Distraction comes in different forms. When I started this conversation, I said some of you are not opening tabs on your phone, right? But your mind is so carried away. All right? Your mind is so carried away. God is so interested in our mind. There's a portion of the Bible that says, "He will keep in perfect peace those whose mind are stayed on Him." Please type, tell us where it is in the Bible. You can write in the comments. God says in His Word that He will keep in perfect peace those whose mind are stayed on Him. So you can even see that God is so interested in our mind. The only way you can experience the earth realm is through your mind. Yes, it's through your mind. The spirit interacts with God and then brings information down to your soul, down to your will, your emotions, and your mind. It is through that you interpret it and you are able to relate on earth. And that's what we talk a lot about the renewal of the mind. Because if the mind is not renewed, if the mind is not renewed daily, no matter what you get from the spirit realm, you cannot download it into physical reality. It cannot be downloaded. It cannot make sense. All right? It can't make sense to you. How many of you remember the story of Peter in the Bible? It's so that's what we're talking about. God told Peter, Peter, kill and eat. Do this 3 good times that revelation came. Peter could not fathom what God was talking about. Do you see that? Because the mind was already so used to the culture of the time, of the season. And it will take the grace of God for a lot of us, for some of us, to even be able, no matter how spiritual we are, to even be able to decode what God is saying. And that's why the renewal of the mind is very important. Without the renewal of the mind, there can be no transformation. Okay? Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans chapter 12. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. So the renewal of the mind is a prerequisite for transformation. Then somebody can be going to church for 100 years because their minds are constantly not renewed. They don't experience breakthroughs in different areas of their lives. Their breakthroughs that they're looking for could be in their health, it could be in their finances, it could be in their businesses, it could be in whatever area. It doesn't really matter. If your mind is constantly not renewed, you cannot receive that level of transformation that has been downloaded in your spirit. So you keep carrying a spirit that is so loaded, okay, that is so loaded around. That's what Christians believers, a lot of us, we are so loaded. We have so much potential. But because our minds are not renewed, we don't get to download those things to make sense for us. So there's no conversion in the realm of the physical, right? So focus is not working longer hours or grinding through your exhaustion. That's not focus. Focus is a practice. I like to write that in the room. Focus is a practice. Write it. Thank you so much. I see Kelechi Uzo, welcome to class. Focus is a practice. It is a practice. We're going to be listening to one of our speaker here. She's going to be talking about, she's a stress success coach. So she's going to be telling us more about how to really balance from her perspective as a coach and as a leader, right? Focus is a practice and it is something that you can learn. Something that you can learn. Something that you can learn. So what is focus? What is focus? Yes, it's a practice. I see you, Jimo. How are you? That's it. Focus is a practice. That's something that you can learn. You've got to be ready to learn. You've got to be ready to do the work. All right? Many of us are not trained to be focused because we never learned it as children. All right? The prefrontal cortex of a man is connected to our ability to really zone in, right? And truly be able to focus our mind. Focus is what is the art of choosing what matters and protecting it. So focus is the art of choosing what matters and protecting. This is a focus summit, right? Everything we're discussing here is about focus, about our purpose, is about the life that we ought to live. That's it. Okay? It's the art of choosing what matters and protecting it. It means saying yes to what God placed in your hands and saying no without guilt to everything that is pulling you away. Yes, that speaker Our last speaker yesterday deliberated so much on that. Faith Obuje deliberated so much on that. Whatever it is that is not connected to what God has said concerning you, discard it. Discard it. Focus is not deprivation, it is devotion. It is devotion. That's focus. You see, when you say to yourself, "Oh, I want to fast," there's something I'm trusting God for, or I want to fast for my spiritual growth, or I want to do this, I want to do that. It's focus. Somebody said sometime, I think it was a great man of God, who said that apart from fasting food, what else do you fast? Right? Sometimes they say fast not going online. Some people say, "Oh, I tried to do Facebook for 3 months, I was not online." It's possible the person is actually trying to focus on something else, right? And so they decide to leave that space so that they can be fully zoned in, all right, so that they can be fully what put together. So focus is not deprivation, it is devotion, all right. So when somebody asks you, "Oh, why are you so zoned into that work? Why are you so focused on that?" So this is my devotion. It is devotion is not only morning prayers alone, right? This is my devotion, meaning it's my focus. It's my focus. Sometimes we just need to understand how to describe certain things differently so I can begin to experience that transformation on a deeper level. So focus is what? Devotion. According to James Redfield, here's a quote by him. He said, "Where your attention goes, your energy flows." How many of you have seen that? I've heard that before. Wherever your energy goes, wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. That's why I said that focus is what? A magnifier. Are you learning something? If you're learning type, I'm learning. Focus is what? A magnifier. Whatever your attention goes, that's where your energy will also what? Flow. If there's an area of life you're currently struggling, you're not getting results, you're not moving forward, just note that your attention is not going to that place. Your attention is not there. Okay? So here is what it is really costing you at this level of your life. Here is what it is really costing you at this level of your life. All right? When you are focused, you don't just lose time. You don't just lose time. What you lose is confidence, momentum, and belief in yourself. I think the last speaker of today, 3 p.m. The evening before, she said something in the light of this that for her, she spoke about comparison. When she was comparing herself with other people, she was distracted by that and all of that. She wasn't able to harness herself. She wasn't able to get the best out of her situation, right? That's it. When you are on focus, trust me, you don't just lose time. Okay, I think it was Ruth Adoga that spoke about the fact that she lost a lot because she wasn't really able to make the decision quite early. All right. So when you are on focus, you are going to not just use only time, you need confidence. You see, the way I'm doing this thing now, I'm devoted. This is my devotion. Impact, personal development. This is my devotion. All right. As I'm doing it, I am growing every single day. I'm getting better. Maybe to the ratio of 0 point whatever, whatever. All right, to the decimal of 0.0000 as much as possible. But trust me, the more I do it on a daily basis, the more I'm getting better. Many of you have not been able to grow your capacity in several dimensions because you have not really sat down to be devoted to that thing that God has given to you, to be devoted to that craft. Many of you will say, "I want to build myself." Are you truly devoted to the life of growth? Are you truly devoted to personal development? Are you devoted? All right? Are you devoted? Do you see that? So you believe in yourself more. There's such a concept as self-efficacy. 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 I like to write that in the comments. Whenever you are doing a task to do and you feel you cannot do that task, you feel you are not capable, you feel you do not have the willpower, many a times what you are struggling from is low self-efficacy. Because self-efficacy means you are given a task and you believe in your ability to do it and get results. Right? You believe in your ability to do it and get results. That's it. You believe in it. So proud to even before now, as we have, as I've looked at my calendar, I'm like, okay, these teachers are going to be teaching. But I've also made decisions of, okay, what if somebody decides going to show up? I'm going to teach this, I'm going to teach that. Do you see that? So you have to understand that dream stays on the someday list forever when you do not focus. and you feel busy all day but accomplish nothing meaningful. Nothing meaningful. So you keep on comparing yourself to other women who seem to have it together, and then you start things with excitement, then abandon them halfway. You abandon them halfway. So research shows that of course employees they lose up to 40% of their productivity. Imagine what that means for your calling. Losing 40% of your productivity. Losing 40% of your productivity. So why do we struggle with focus? Why do we struggle with focus? I like you to check this out. Why do women struggle with focus? Right? Why? This is backed by science. Before I even set up to put this program together, something stirred it up. Something actually stirred it up. I didn't just wake up because I wanted to teach or because I wanted to carry out an activity. Something stirred it up. Why do we struggle with focus more as women? Number one thing you have to know is that women are 1.5 times more likely to take on additional tasks even when overwhelmed. Even when overwhelmed. According to APA 2022, women are 1.5 times more likely to take on more tasks even when they are overwhelmed. You see that we are socialized to say yes. That's how we're trained as women. We are socialized to say yes. A man can come up and say no. No is a no. Nothing will happen. And they will not even be emotional about it. But it's a woman that will say no and they will keep explaining why they said no. The day I came to realize that no is a complete sentence. I didn't have to explain no. I didn't have to explain my no to nobody. My no to nobody. That looks like a very so we are trained to say yes. Sorry for that break. Can you speak hear me? We are trained to say yes. And as a result, many of us are so carried away with so much activity. We are overwhelmed with so much. We are overwhelmed with so much task. I'm glad you're learning, Shoma Ejiofor. We are overwhelmed with so much task. All right. Another thing you have to see here is emotional distractions hit us differently. Women process social and emotional stimuli more deeply, making mental quiet harder to achieve because women are emotional being. I mean, beg your pardon. Women are emotional beings. So emotional distractions hit us differently from any other person out there. Another thing is mental load. So we carry invisible cognitive load for our family, for our community, for our workers, and all the rest. And then we don't give ourselves permission a lot. We prioritize other people's goals. Okay, we feel that when we prioritize our own goals, it is selfish. You know, whenever they talk about self-care, I have a friend who is a self-care coach from South Africa. You know, I remember her just sharing her experiences of how she carried the burden of the family for so many years, and then eventually she broke down. A lot happened, and she couldn't keep up anymore. And now she teaches self-care to women. Now, self-care starts from personal development, right? When you become more aware of yourself, you know how to take care of yourself. You know how to take care of yourself. Some of the things that I do now, I wasn't always like this. I wasn't doing them. But today I do them. It's not self-care for me because I know that self-care is self-respect. If you respect yourself, you care for yourself. I'm at the level of my life where it's about radical self-respect. When I was approaching my birthday last year, I told myself and I told my family that this is the era of radical self-respect and self-care. I'm not going to, in this very era of my life, this is it for me. This is it for me. All right? Yes. No is a complete statement. You don't need to start explaining your why. That's it. That's it. Yes, Shoma, I hope you make use of that concept, self-efficacy, right? So, prioritizing our own goal and fix them. So, we shrink ourselves. We shrink ourselves. We shrink our focus, okay, so that we can please other people. I need you to know that all of these things that you are listening to right now, according to the research, this is not weakness for us as women. It is actually a contest so that we know how to change ourselves, how to move forward as we continue. So let's look quickly at the focus framework. We're going to run through in the next 15 minutes and then we'll round up for today. And you learning something? If you have any question, please go ahead and share in the comment section. I'm super excited that you are here. I know for sure that we're going to be raising as many intentional women in this community. We're going to be raising a lot of intentional women in this very community. And that's my hope, and that's my trust, and that's my focus. All right? I hope you can hear me. We're raising as much intentional women as possible in this very community. All right? Do we have any questions yet? Yes, self-care is self-love. If you don't love you, you cannot care for you. So you see this program that this woman I spoke about is actually running. She's running it for women. She is running it for women and not for men. So it's a woman athlete. She is running it for women. For you to know that women have more issues than men at that level. So this is why this conversation is important. It's necessary for us to have it. For us to have it. All right? This is my framework for you. The F there stands for filter. I like to write it down. The O stands for own your R's. The C is for clear the clutter. U is for unplug to recharge. And S is for stay the course. All right? Stay the course. Stay the course. You see that? For the woman that is ready to stop spinning and start what? Winning. That woman who is ready for transformation. That woman who is ready to stand out. That woman who is ready to be exceptional in her world. To be able to do amazing things that will really stand her out in the scheme of things. You see that? That will really stand her out in the scheme of things. When we say filter, we're going to go deeper. It's really about getting ruthlessly clear on what matters most right now. What is that thing that matters most to you right now in your world and in your life? What matters most to you right now? What matters most to you right now? Okay, in your world. What matters most to you right now? Okay, what matters most to you right now? So that featuring is very important. It is very important. Own your art. You have to be ready to design your day. I think one of the speakers spoke about living by default versus living by design. Living by default versus living by design. You've got to be ready to own your day. Don't just react to them. Own it. Clear the clutter. Decluttering is important. Decluttering is very much important. Decluttering is important. This is where you get to remove your mental, physical, or digital distractions. Many of us sometimes we feel that distractions is only within our environment, but we have more mental distractions than you can ever think about. Because if you are not distracted internally, you cannot be distracted externally. Trust me. If you are not distracted internally, you can't be distracted externally. You see that? If you are not distracted internally, you can't be distracted externally. So most of the challenge and the battles that we fight in our physical realities are actually battles that started from our minds. All right? Battles that started from our minds. Okay? Rest is also important. Rest is not a reward, it is part of the strategy. All right? The reason God created Sabbath. Sabbath means to rest. Okay? There's a protocol to rest, actually. There's a protocol to rest. You must be able to inculcate the protocol of rest in your life. Okay? For all of us, it differs. It differs. I think when I was teaching in January, we did the 10 days of webinar series on on productivity. If you didn't go through those videos, they are still on this YouTube channel. You can go check them out. There was a day I dedicated to talking about rest. There's a protocol to rest depending on your archetype, your biological framework. All right. Some people, whether you like it or not, you cannot negate biology. Biology and chemistry is important. Biology and chemistry is important. Yes, Faith Obuje, if you are not distracted internally, you can't be distracted externally. All right. So I need you to know that rest isn't a reward, it is a strategy. And that's why God rested on the seventh day. Okay? Rest should actually be something you do right now. You find a way to infuse it into your work. For example, I work hard. How many of you know that I'm a hard worker? Oh, I work really hard. Hard. But you see, my Saturdays and my Sundays, I sleep a lot. I can be back from church on Sunday and I sleep for like hours. That's one way I rest. And I can watch a movie. On Saturdays, I also get to rest as well. I also get to rest more. So instead of sleeping maybe 5, 6 hours, okay, on Saturdays you can see me sleeping like 2 hours, 3 hours during the day, right? I sleep a lot and I rest during the weekend. During the weekend. So that is one protocol for me. Another thing I do is within the week, on a daily basis, I've understood my system so much that I know when to sleep, I know when to be awake. All right, I've mastered it. I don't need to sleep with an alarm, I don't need to wake up with an alarm. My system just works that way. But there was a season that I was always fighting it. All right, I want to do the opposite, and it really affected me. I was always falling sick. All right, stay the course. Consistency is very important. Consistency is better than intensity. I say it a lot. Consistency is better than intensity every single time. Every single time. It is better. All right. So we're going to end the class here. So I hope to talk more about the framework. All right. In another meeting. Okay. Maybe one of our session on the last day. I will break it down more. I will talk about it more and how to annex them. All right. It's the Focus Female Summit. So everything we're discussing is about focus. I need you to know that a woman that is not focused cannot really get the best result possible. They can't really get the best result possible in whatever they lay their hands to do. All right. While I was having conversations with some of our speakers, I remember just telling one of the speakers that, see, when we look at, I've seen several women, I've seen several ladies. Even when I started off on this journey, I know of the people that we started out together, we're colleagues, we did a lot together. But trust me, my friend, trust me, I came to realize that a lot of them, at some point, they veered off. They didn't stay committed, right? But I've come to realize that focus is such a powerful principle that God has placed in the earth realm. That anybody that wants to make it in life, anybody that wants to stand out, anybody that wants to become exceptional, must be ready to do the needful. Must be ready to do the needful. I would have loved to break them down, but it's going to take us another 30 minutes to do that. So I will teach it again in another session. Okay? I look for a time to teach it in one of our sessions. Maybe after any of those speakers, I will teach it. But I want you to know that this is a necessity. All right, like I said, the focus is a strategy, and you have to practice it. It gets better with practice. And that's one thing I'm also teaching my children. Also learn to teach it to your children, teach it to your colleagues, teach it to as men that are around you. Teach it to them. Okay? When you teach it to them, it becomes easier for them to what be able to navigate life with it. For them to be able to navigate life with it. Have you learned something today? Have you learned something? If you have learned something, type I've learned, I've learned, I've learned. Yes, it's all about focus this season, and we're focusing on our focus. One book I would love to recommend for you. You know, we run a book club in the community. If you have not signed up for our book club, let me give you an opportunity to tell you, right? We are launching our paid membership again in July. In July, we're launching a paid membership. And I want to tell you, if you're interested in reading, building capacity through book reading, like you love to read. How many of you love to read here? If you love to read, type read in the comments. If you love to read, type read in the comments. Type it in the comment. Let's see. How many of you love to read here? So we are only for those who love to read. It's okay. If you don't love to read, join us. You'll fall in love with reading in the community. Join us in that community. There's nothing I talk about that I don't really emphasize so much on reading. All right, we're going to be reading books. We read Bible. We read as many books as possible. All right. So if you'd like to join us in that community, it is currently for 10,000 naira or $10 for only this month. From next month, registration is going to move down to $15 or 15,000 naira. All right. So if you'd like to join us, you want to leverage on the discount offer, please send me a DM after now to sign up on that. Okay, to sign up on that if you like to join us. So Faith, you can just put up a write-up and tell them if you like to join us for the book club, like Coach Faith rightly mentioned. Um, please join us. So Faith will share if Faith is here, but if Faith is not here, you can send me a DM. And if you like to join, I'm just saying that by the side because we cannot have something so good and we don't tell you about it. All right. So if you like to join the book club, July to September edition is going to be launching. You have an opportunity to read a minimum of 6 books. That's 2 books in a month with daily coaching and accountability. All right. We call ourselves the 5 a.m. readers. Then we also have the reading challenge coming up in the month of June. If you'd like to participate in our upcoming reading challenge, please go ahead and participate as well. It's available. You can win amazing prizes of up to $150. Um, and the challenge is just for a token of $5. So go ahead and sign up if you're interested. That's, by the way, is one way to focus as well. I've seen that reading helps a man to be very much intentional and to be fully zoned in. All right, to be fully zoned in is important. Okay, exceptional result requires exceptional energy. People or communities to give your ear time, and time to goes a long way to make one to be focused or lose focus. Interesting, Kelechi. I've already started mastering this name. Kelechi, it seems you only show up for evening sessions. I'm not too certain I've seen you in the afternoon sessions. Okay. Okay, Kelechi says, my objective for this program is unfolding gradually. Thank you, Coach. That's interesting. I'm glad you've been blessed. God bless you, bless you, bless you. All right, people, I want to celebrate you. How many of you right now really want to step on board to begin to do the work that God wants you to do? Like you have not been doing it, you want to step on board, or possibly you're looking for better ways to structure. How many of you are here? We have something we're going to be telling you about it from tomorrow. So that if you like to get on board, you get on board. All right. We cannot listen to this and not go do the work of our Father. That's the truth. We cannot listen to this and not go do the work of our Father. There's so much that God has placed in our hands. There's so much work He has given to us to carry out in this season. All right. There's so much work He has given to us to carry out. And if we're not carrying out that work, it simply means that we do not know what we are doing. All right. And I want to say kudos to you. Thank you for showing up. Tomorrow will continue by 2 p.m. Go ahead and share your feedback in the room. I'm going to open up the focus female room right now. Go and share. Have an amazing night, friends. Bye, everyone.